So you're here because you want to get straight to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Right? How to actually genuinely improve your life. No fluff, just insights that work. And that's exactly what we're doing in this deep dive.
Exactly. We're digging into a really comprehensive resource today. It's called 15 Powerful Ways to Improve Your Life In-Depth Guide.
Right. And it really is in depth, not just surface level tips. Our mission here is to pull out the absolute core ideas, those moments that make you go, aha, and figure out how you can actually use them.
You know, without making it feel like this massive, overwhelming project, just practical takeaways for, well, a better life.
Precisely. And what I like is how holistic it feels. It connects dots between waking up, how you move, what you eat, even who you hang out with.
Yeah, it sees it all as interconnected, which, I mean, it is, isn't it?
Totally. Okay, so let's jump in. First up, the guide talks about something lots of successful people seem to do, getting up early.
Ah, yes, the early bird.
Now, I know, hitting that snooze button is tempting. I do it too sometimes. But what's the real benefit here, according to the guide?
Well, a big part is about aligning with your body's natural rhythm, your circadian clock. Waking up earlier, especially with natural light, can help reset it.
Okay, so better sleep in the long run.
Potentially, yes. And more than that, it carves out this quiet time, you know, before the day's chaos hits, time for planning, maybe meditating, journaling, a quick workout.
Right, setting a proactive tone instead of just reacting to emails first thing.
Exactly. It gives you a sense of control. And the guide does mention, like you said, that many high achievers feel this habit gives them an edge.
A head start when your brain is, theoretically at its sharpest.
That's the idea. And look, it doesn't have to be a huge leap. The guide suggests even just like 15 or 20 minutes earlier can make a difference.
Okay, that feels more doable. Small changes.
Small changes, big impact over time.
All right, sticking with energy and well-being. Next up is regular exercise. We all know it's good for us physically, but the guide really hammers home the mental and emotional side.
Oh, absolutely. The neurochemistry is fascinating. When you exercise, your brain releases endorphins. These are basically natural mood boosters, like painkillers, but for your mood.
That runner's high feeling, or just feeling less stressed after a walk.
Exactly. And beyond the immediate feeling, there's the long-term stuff. Better heart health, lower risk of chronic diseases like diabetes, obesity, the list goes on.
And the mental benefits too. Less depression, less anxiety, sharper thinking, better memory, even more creativity. That one surprised me a little.
Yeah, it seems to really fire up different parts of the brain. But the key takeaway from the guide isn't about becoming some elite athlete.
Right. It's consistency, not just intensity.
Precisely. Find something you actually enjoy, walking, yoga, dancing, cycling, whatever, something you'll stick with. That's where the real benefits compound.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've covered moving the body. Let's shift to feeding the mind. Daily reading. The guide is big on this.
It is. And in today's world, with constant pings and notifications, it feels almost countercultural, doesn't it?
It really does. But the benefits listed are pretty compelling. It's framed as a gateway to lifelong learning, broadening your horizons.
Well, reading essentially exercises your brain. It exposes you to new vocab, different sentence structures, complex ideas, perspectives you hadn't considered.
Which sharpens critical thinking, right? Challenges your assumptions.
Definitely. And it builds empathy, too, when you're stepping into characters' lives and viewpoints.
And I saw that stat, just 6 minutes of reading can significantly slash stress levels. 6 minutes.
Isn't that something? Probably because it requires focus, pulling you away from your own worries for a bit. It's immersive.
Yeah, like a mini escape. Plus, the obvious stuff. Better vocabulary, better communication. How do they suggest building the habit?
Simple things, really. Keep a book with you. Set a small goal, maybe 10 pages a day. Make it part of your wind-down routine at night. Just weave it in.
Okay. Good tips. Now, feeding the body, healthy eating. I like that the guide framed this positively, not about deprivation, but about feeling good and having energy.
Yeah, that's a much healthier way to look at it, isn't it? It's about nourishment, not restriction. Giving your body the fuel it actually needs to function well.
So lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean protein, healthy fats, the usual suspects.
Right. The building blocks for everything, brain function, energy, even longevity. And it helps reduce the risk of those chronic diseases we mentioned earlier.
And it gives practical advice too, like limiting sugar and processed foods, maybe trying meal prep, actually reading labels.
Just being more conscious, really. Understanding what you're putting into your body. Cooking at home more often helps with that too.
True. It's more than just fuel. It's information for your body.
Well put. It influences mood, energy, focus, everything.
Okay, so on the flip side of intake, limiting screen time. This is a tough one for, well, pretty much everyone these days.
It really is. Screens are everywhere, but the guide points out some real downsides to excessive use.
Like eye strain, poor sleep, that blue light messing with melatonin, right?
Exactly. That's a big one for sleep quality, but also decreased productivity because it's so easy to get distracted, and the mental health aspects.
Yeah, the comparison trap on social media, feeling inadequate, anxiety, maybe even depression linked to it.
It's a potential factor, for sure. That constant curation of life online isn't always helpful.
So what can we do? The guide suggests things like setting app limits, maybe having tech-free zones or times, like no phones at the dinner table.
Those are great starts. Digital detoxes, even short ones. The main idea is to consciously choose real-world stuff sometimes. Hobbies, nature, face-to-face conversation.
Prioritizing presence, essentially. Being where you actually are.
You got it. More mindfulness, less mindless scrolling.
Speaking of mindfulness, that leads nicely into practicing gratitude. This sounds almost simple, but the guide says it's powerful.
It is surprisingly powerful. It's about shifting your focus from what's lacking to what you do have. Abundance versus scarcity mindset.
And that simple shift can lower stress, improve relationships, even help you sleep better.
That's what the research suggests, yeah. It kind of counteracts our brain's natural negativity bias, you know? We tend to focus on threats and problems.
So how do you practice it? The guide mentions a gratitude journal.
That's a classic method. Just jotting down, say, 3 things you're thankful for each day. It doesn't have to be huge things. Sunshine, a good cup of coffee, a conversation.
It trains your brain to look for the good.
Pretty much. It rewires you, slowly but surely, to notice the positive more often.
Okay, let's talk about growth, learning new skills. The guide stresses this isn't just for your resume.
No, it's fundamental for keeping your mind sharp, adaptable. Think of it as cognitive exercise again.
Boost confidence too, right? When you actually manage to learn something new.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And it enhances creativity, problem solving, just makes you more resourceful, more adaptable to change, which is, let's face it, constant.
So important these days. What kind of skills are we talking?
Anything, really. Whatever sparks your interest. Cooking, coding, learning an instrument, photography, public speaking, a new language.
The key is choosing something you're actually curious about.
Yes, and the guide advises breaking it down. Small steps, practice regularly, and, importantly, celebrate the small wins along the way. Don't wait until you're an expert.
Builds resilience, gives you a sense of progress. I like that.
Sense of direction, too.
All right, shifting from internal growth to our external environment. Decluttering. The guide connects a cluttered space to a cluttered mind.
There's a strong psychological link, yeah. Physical clutter can genuinely make you feel more stressed, overwhelmed, less focused. It drains energy.
I can see that. Piles of stuff everywhere. It's visually noisy.
Exactly. So decluttering isn't just about tidying up. It's about creating a more peaceful, productive mental space, too.
How do they suggest tackling it? Seems overwhelming.
Start small. 1 drawer, 1 shelf. The guide even mentions things like the KonMari method, asking if an item sparks joy.
Right, being intentional about what you keep around you.
Yeah. The end result is more clarity, maybe even boosted creativity, and definitely a sense of control over your environment.
Okay, control and direction. That brings us to setting clear goals. The guide uses a great analogy, a ship without a compass.
It's spot on, isn't it? Without goals, you're just kind of drifting. Clear goals give you focus, direction, something to aim for.
Keeps you motivated too, because you can see you're making progress towards something specific.
Right. And the guide brings up the SMART framework, which is super helpful.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound.
Exactly. It forces you to move beyond vague wishes like, I want to be healthier, to something concrete like, I'll walk for 30 minutes 3 times a week for the next month.
Much more actionable.
Yeah.
And breaking big goals down.
Crucial. Makes them less intimidating. And revisiting them regularly, visualizing success. These things help keep you on track. It turns dreams into actual plans.
I love it. Now, we don't exist in a vacuum. The guide talks about the impact of the people around us, surrounding yourself with positive people.
Oh, this is huge. Your social circle has a massive, often subtle influence on your mindset, your habits, even your aspirations.
So negative complaining people can drag you down.
Pretty much. They can drain your energy, reinforce limiting beliefs, whereas positive, supportive people...
They lift you up, inspire you.
Yeah, they encourage you, challenge you in healthy ways, celebrate your wins. The guide suggests consciously evaluating who you spend time with and actively seeking out supportive networks.
Like joining groups, attending events.
Things like that, finding communities built around shared interests or goals, nurturing those friendships that feel genuinely good and reciprocal.
There's that saying, isn't there? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
The guide mentions that concept, yeah. It really makes you think about who those 5 people are.
Definitely. Okay, another area that causes a lot of stress for people. Money. Managing finances.
Yep. Financial wellness is key to reducing stress and feeling secure. Poor money management can lead to, well, a lot of anxiety and problems down the line.
So what are the first steps, according to the guide? Budgeting.
That's usually step 1. Create a budget, track where your money is actually going, income versus expenses. Then you can set financial goals, like saving or paying off debt.
Seems basic, but so many people avoid it. It feels maybe intimidating.
It can be. But the guide encourages educating yourself. Books, courses, even budgeting apps make it way easier now. Just taking that first step to understand your situation.
And the payoff is peace of mind, right? Living within your means, having a plan.
Huge peace of mind and freedom. Financial stress is incredibly draining.
Totally agree. Okay, we touched on this earlier, but let's dive deeper. Practicing mindfulness. What does that actually mean in practice?
Simply put, it's being fully present in this moment, right here, right now, without judging it, just noticing.
So not worrying about the future or dwelling on the past.
Exactly. And the benefits are significant. Reduce stress, better focus, more emotional regulation, meaning you don't get hijacked by your emotions as easily.
How do you start? Meditation seems like the obvious one.
It's a great way. Simple breathing exercises, body scans, guided meditations. There are tons of apps for that now. But it's also about bringing that awareness to everyday things.
Like really tasting your food or feeling the water when you wash dishes.
Precisely. Fully engaging your senses in whatever you're doing. It cultivates self-awareness over time.
Interesting. Now, related to self-awareness is how we talk to ourselves. The guide covers speaking kindly to yourself.
Our inner dialogue, our self-talk, it's incredibly powerful. It shapes our beliefs about ourselves, our self-esteem, everything.
And most of us tend to be pretty harsh critics internally, don't we?
Often, yes. That negative self-talk, I'm not good enough, I messed up again, is really damaging. Positive self-talk, using affirmations, being more compassionate, that builds you up.
So paying attention to that inner voice and challenging the negative stuff.
Yes. Actively challenge limiting beliefs. Ask yourself, is this really true? What's a kinder, more supportive way to think about this?
Treat yourself like you'd treat a friend.
That's a great way to put it. It builds confidence, resilience, and just a sense of inner peace.
Okay, moving outward again. Giving back, helping others. The guide says this benefits the giver as much as the receiver.
Absolutely. There's a real sense of connection, purpose, and gratitude that comes from contributing to something beyond yourself.
How can people do that? Volunteering, mentoring.
Those are great examples. Donating, if you can. Even just small, everyday acts of kindness. Holding a door, offering a genuine compliment.
It fosters connection. And the guide mentions it actually boosts happiness and lowers stress for the person giving.
It often does, yeah. That feeling of making a positive difference, of being part of a community, it's deeply fulfilling.
Makes sense. We're social creatures, after all.
We are.
All right, finally. And this feels crucial in our always-on culture. Taking breaks and resting. The guide really pushes back against the hustle culture.
Thank goodness. Rest isn't laziness. It's essential for recovery, both mental and physical. Our brains and bodies need downtime to function optimally.
So burnout isn't a badge of honor.
Definitely not. The guide highlights how adequate sleep and regular short breaks actually improve concentration, creativity, and overall performance. You can't pour from an empty cup.
So prioritizing sleep, scheduling actual breaks during the day.
Yeah.
Not just powering through.
Yes. Listen to your body. If you're feeling drained, take a break. Go for a walk, stretch, do nothing for 5 minutes. It's about reframing rest as productive self-care.
Recharge the batteries to come back stronger.
Exactly. It allows you to sustain your efforts over the long haul without burning out.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot of ground we've covered.
Yeah.
15 powerful ways. It's clear these aren't just, quick hacks. They're habits, interconnected practices.
Lifelong habits, really. And the idea isn't to implement all 15 perfectly overnight. It's about gradual integration.
Right. That quote at the end is great. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can.
It's empowering, isn't it? The core message is that real, lasting improvement comes from consistently applying these kinds of strategies across your life.
A truly holistic view. So think about everything we've discussed: early rising, exercise, reading, eating well, managing screens, gratitude, learning, decluttering, goals, positive people, finances, mindfulness, self-talk, giving back, and rest. Here's a thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Considering all those areas, which single habit, if you started implementing it consistently right now, do you think would create the biggest positive ripple effect in your own life?
That's a powerful question.
Something to mull over, maybe even dig back into that guide for more reflection. Thanks so much for taking this deep dive with us today. Your commitment to learning and growing is really something.